Hello guys and welcome to this video. I quite often get asked about my controller and camera settings, so that is what we're going to be covering today. Whether you're new to the game or not, I know a lot of you will have got the game for Christmas and stuff. It doesn't matter whether you're a new player or someone that's been on the game a while. This should help you out. It's changed a little bit from the start of the year as well. Do me a favour, let's try and hit 100 likes on the video. Subscribe for more videos on how to get better at FC. Any questions, comment down below. And let's get into it. If you need the cheapest FC25 coins to build your super team, then check out MMOEXP by clicking the link down below and use code JambooUK for 5% off. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with the controller settings. I am an old school PES player, so I play on alternate. The majority of you guys will play on classic. This doesn't really matter, it's purely down to your preference. The stuff that really matters is these game settings. So by default, in your champs, just anything Ultimate Team online, you're going to have this competitive thing on anyway. So you don't really need to worry about that. For shooting, you want it on assisted. I get asked a lot, whether to use precision and stuff. Trust me, unless you're playing at the very highest level and you're absolutely cracked out of your mind, assisted is just the way to go. The thing with FIFA/FC, any football game really, because of the amount of AI and stuff on the pitch, the more assistance in any field that you're able to get, you need to be taking it. Because if you don't, someone will be using it against you to win. So there is that. Timed finishing, you definitely want on. This is beneficial long term, even if in the short term, you're red timing some of your chances and missing what you would normally score. Just battle through it, because long term, this is going to get you more goals that you cannot score without it. You want your timed finishing on and you want to get to know it. Get in the arena, practice, 100 shots a day, whatever it takes, and you'll be green timing every shot, and it is so efficient. Through pass we have on semi, lobbed pass semi, assisted on the ground pass, assisted crossing, assisted on the lob pass, receiver lock late. The reason for this one and why this is important, this is something that I've been using for many years. There is obviously delay on FIFA and FC, okay? So you'll often get into these situations where, say you're aiming a pass out to your winger and it doesn't release the ball. What this allows you to do is to actually change direction. If by the time that the player hasn't released the ball, that pass is no longer on, you're able to change it at the last minute. So that's actually very important, and it does add a skill gap. Not a skill gap that should be necessary, to be honest, because it should just pass when we tell it to, but because it doesn't, this is, really worth having on. We've got the precision pass sensitivity normal. I don't really use too many precision passes, to be honest. Clearance, assistance, directional. Now, at the start of the year, I had it on classic. It's not too big of a deal, to be honest. If you have it on classic, basically, if you press the clear button, it's just going to hoof it anywhere. With directional, it is going to allow you to sort of control, where you're punting the ball up the pitch. But in general, I don't really recommend, unless you're really in trouble, ever booting the ball out. There's normally a way to play your way out the back. However, with how the press tactics are on this game, with how stiff your defenders can be, especially if you're a lower level player, you may just want to get rid at times. So directional and the clearance assistance. This is one I get asked about a hell of a lot. It is tactical versus advanced defending. And I think both are very usable. Advanced defending for me, the benefit is not worth the error that can come with it. I've been defending on tactical for many years. I was an ex-pro player, always just used this standard defending. That was what we had back then. To this day, a lot of pros are still using this. You can get a slight edge if you master the advanced defending, but, to be honest, the short-term and even long-term pain you're going to have trying to master this, it's probably not worth it for most people. So I would stick with tactical. You can still play at the highest level with this on. So that is what I would go with. Pass block assistance on, of course. We all want our AI stepping in and doing things for us. So that is what that will allow to do. Auto switching. Now, this is This is an interesting one because I have always stood by the air balls and loose balls. There is some pros now that actually have it on manual, and the reason for this is for things like corners and balls in the air. You know, when people are crossing it into their Haaland and stuff, the issue, as much as the air and loose balls, you know, it's going to switch for you in them situations. Sometimes it's going to actually bug and switch you to the wrong player. So that really, this is one for you to decide. I think for most casual players, you're going to want this on air balls and loose balls. It's just going to make your life easy. The majority of the time, it's going to get it right. And it's very unlikely for most people that they're going to be facing some pro, you know, that's player locking onto Haaland at the back post. And, you know, you're going to be fine with your air balls and loose balls. Auto switching move assistance. This is one, again, for many years, I swore by having this on low. The more that I've tweaked and just understood this game, because let's make one thing clear, FC25, I do not recognize this game anymore from when I was competing. It's very, very different. It's just not the same game we used to play, you know, even 3-4 years ago. It's very different. I would have this on none now. It just feels better. Can't quite put my finger down on what it is. I always swore by low, but now I have it on none. So again, you can have a try with it and see what you prefer. It's basically when you're moving with a player and you switch off of them, if you have it on low, they will keep going in the direction that you were telling them to for a split second. They will just sort of stop if you have it on none. I think that is the way to go now. Right stick switching, we have that on classic. We have player relative. Bit of preference going on here again. Player relative, I think, is what most people will be used to. It's basically, you know, the direct point for your right stick switching. So when you're flicking the right stick, where the center point is, whether you want it to be the ball or the player, that is, you know, pretty self-explanatory. You can tinker with it, see what you prefer. Right stick switching sensitivity. Earlier in the year, I did have it down on 4. I've upped it to 5. A little bit of a difference. The right stick switching on this game is not perfect. It's actually far from it. You guys might have your preference once again, like a lot of these settings are. I think the main thing a lot of people struggle with is actually just not right stick switching enough. You want to try and get comfortable with it as much as it can be a bit buggy. If you want to go to that next level, it is super important that you get comfortable with right stick switching. We have classic on the next player. This reaction time thing, this is a new setting they added in. I think basically every pro has turned that off. Mine is also off. Player lock, very important mechanic. You want this on. Similar in a way, you know, to the timed finishing. May take you a while to get used to. You'll thank yourself in 2 years when you're, you know, destroying people with player locks on FC27. You know, it just makes sense. You want this on long term. It's going to improve you as a player. Very important. Analog sprint, we have that off. Trigger effect, get that off. Get these off. Especially if you're a new player, actually, this trigger effect thing is potentially the worst setting of all time. This will lose you games on its own. I've never seen a more bizarre setting in my life. I believe it's just for the PlayStation that this setting's on. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. But genuinely, this thing will make it so you're physically on your controller, you can like not press down the sprint button and stuff. It is mind-blowing. I don't know whose idea this was. And it's actually pretty interesting that this controller allows the game to do that. It literally jams your sprint button. It's crazy. You want to get that off for sure. Vibration, get it all off. You know, it's not needed for a football simulation game. In terms of my camera angle, I always get asked about it. It is co-op with 20 height and 0 zoom. And the reason for that is it's allowing me to see so much of the pitch. If you watch my gameplay and my streams and stuff, you'll see how zoomed out my camera is. For through balls and the way this game plays and has for the last couple of years, I've sworn by just the more of the pitch you can see, the better. And at least for now, that is not changing for me. But guys, these are my settings. If you made it this far, please do leave a like. I'd appreciate it a lot. Subscribe for more educational FC videos. I will catch you on the next one. and peace.